What's up, crafters? Timeless Travelers Tutorials here today to bring you an industrial sugarcane farm with a massive storage silo. So we have a lot to go over today, so be sure to check the timestamps in the description if you want to fast forward to any different parts of this video. So let's get into it. And here we go. This is going to be a four-tiered sugarcane farm. The original design for this farm I found from a crafter known as T-Bugs. There will be a link to his video down below. But essentially, this farm was inspired by his design, just one module here, and I wanted to make it industrial and produce very, very large amounts of sugarcane. I mean, unnecessarily large amounts of sugarcane. This farm will produce a little over 11,000 sugarcane per hour, which is also why we have such a massive storage. Now, storage system is up to you, of course, but I figured if we're going to be producing large amounts of sugarcane and we're going to let it be for a couple hours, we're going to need a large storage system. So we're going to learn how to build that too. So back over here to the front, I'm not going to go too much into the redstone right here, but you can tell this is just a simple vertical power stem, just pushing the piston into the redstone block, and it repeats the process, turning all of them on, or really unpowering the piston, and it will activate a clock. We'll get into that a little bit later, but as you can see here, all four farms are active. Now, you can stack this higher, you can stack this shorter, okay? You can do just one, you can do just two, you can do just three, you can do four, you can do 8. You can do all the way up to build limit. It's entirely up to you. If you're doing this in survival, of course, you want to make sure you have the resources, but we can already see this farm in action up here. So how this works, it's a very cool fountain. This is really my favorite part of the build. But so we come down here, all the items are going to be collected into a hopper line. We have double chests here for overflow protection because we have such massive amounts of sugarcane compiling into one hopper. It would overflow if we didn't put in a double chest. And of course, double hoppers to send the items out at a quicker rate. Also, because of this, we have created a double bubble column with 2 auto droppers. That way, our droppers don't overflow. If the droppers were to overflow, this signal that you see going on and off would stay in a constant on state. Therefore, the items would not actually drop out. So if we just take a look up here, items get sent. Now, as we saw this amazing fountain earlier, they just fly up in the air, and they're going to go into a small little hopper line. And you can pretty much tell if we look down the lights, every light that's going down is sugarcane traveling into one of these chests. And we have it split down 2 different ways as well for the overflow protection. Otherwise, if they were going into one flowing water and into one storage, these hoppers would also end up overflowing. So there's a few things in here that it's deliberate to prevent overflow, so we don't have anything clogging, and make sure that we get the most out of our sugarcane farm. So let's take a look at our rates. This is going to be the rates per hour. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 completely filled double chests, and we have about a row and a half of sugarcane after that. So that is why, as you can see, why we have so much storage. The storage will kind of be up to you, but we want to make sure that we have them going down separate lines to prevent hoppers from clogging. All right, crafters, so if we take a look at the materials, it's not that much. I know some of the redstone looked a little complicated, but it's not too bad. As you can see here, you've got your building blocks. Yes, this has to be netherite blocks. I'm kidding. You don't need to use netherite blocks. Just whatever building block you want to use. So we have our building blocks. We have the glass, hoppers, redstone dust chests, dispensers, make sure we don't get this confused, we need this many dispensers and we need just 2 droppers. Your repeaters, your pistons, torches, redstone torches, your signs, comparators, redstone lamps. This is optional. This is just to indicate when our storage silo is full. We have our stairs. We need this many empty buckets, and then you need your dirt, your redstone blocks, sticky pistons, a couple things of soul sand buttons, and then 2 droppers and a lever. And now if we look into this chest, we need 48, no, that's 44, I'm sorry, 44 water buckets. This is not including the infinite water sources that you're going to need for the bubble column. These are 44 individual buckets of water, okay? Okay, crafters, so as we get ready to build this farm, you just want to make sure that you zone out your space, your building space. Specifically, we want to make sure that we are all within one chunk. That entire build will be able to fit in one chunk, which is going to be very important because if it ends up having some of the circuitry cross over when the chunks load and or unload, it could mess up some of your circuitry. One chunk, some of your stuff will be powered. The second chunk that loads later would be unpowered, and it would just kind of split your circuitry. It would just be a mess. So whenever you can, always chunk align. What I use is Chunk Base, and that is a very effective software for finding out your chunks. You just plug your seed into the website, into the list, and it will give you chunk by chunk coordinates, where it ends, where it begins, what chunk it is throughout the entire world. So that's what we did here. We got our 16 by 16. I just kind of put the corners here to show this is the corner of another chunk, corner of another chunk, corner of another chunk, and so on. Yeah. So once you have your space cleared out, go ahead and get out your torches, and we're going to start here. We're going to go back by 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go over by 1. Okay. We're going to dig down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then just go ahead and slap down your torches. Then we want to get out the pistons on both sides. And get your building block. And we're going to slap some redstone right here. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Redstone on the back of your farm. And then a couple solid blocks here. Go ahead and get your dispenser. You're going to place 11 of them down on the front and 11 on the back. So what we're doing here is we are essentially building a clock. Once it's activated, it's going to constantly go. It's an automated machine, and this is going to be basically the lifeblood, the heart, the battery of the entire farm. Without this, none of it would go. So we're going to get ready. We're just going to activate that clock. So every time we place a block down, the redstone torch underneath is going to power it, which sends a signal out to here, which activates the piston. Now that this block is still powered, it's going to activate our droppers, which we're going to use for our water logging to keep the dirt hydrated. And so just keep filling in your building blocks until you get to this point. It's going to do this. Check your volume. This may be very loud. And so this clock is now active. And we're just going to slap this right here for now. Go ahead, put that lever there. That'll keep this in a constant on state so it can't be pushed back and forth. And we can continue on with the rest of the build. Next, you want to get out your stairs, and you're going to face the side And make sure that you are crouching, otherwise you're going to just open up the UI for your dispensers. So go ahead and then you can face the back and place them down. Now right here, again, just face the other side, and this is going to keep our water contained in this direction. All right. Go ahead and get out your dirt. Now we want to get out our hoppers. And this is going to be temporary. Just place it there because we're going to wrap this around once we start connecting our farms. So now that you have it placed that way, go ahead and bring this around here. Like so. It should all be pointing towards our on and off switch. Now to make sure that the water doesn't come out when it gets waterlogged, of course, just place down your signs. And when you get to your other farms that are higher up, you're of course not going to be at ground level. So you're going to want to place some temporary blocks for you to walk across as you place down the signs. We're going to waterlog our stairs, so go ahead and get out your water bucket. You are going to need some sort of infinite water source just to get to fill up your bucket for this process. So we're going to need, just fill in all 11 spaces with water, and once you have your dirt here, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. And then on this same side, so this is very important, we're going to waterlog the stairs, and then the dispensers right below it, we're going to put an empty bucket in each one. Now we are over here on the front. And so this line of dispensers, we're going to put in a whole water bucket in each one. Now it's very important. Make sure all of your front dispensers throughout all the farms that you are stacking, all the front ones will have one water bucket. All of the dispensers in the back, underneath the waterlogged stairs, will have an empty bucket. And if we were to test this out, you can go ahead and slap this lever real quick, and you should see the water switching back and forth. This is a very good sign. This means that you have put it together perfectly. Next, you're going to want to get out your building blocks and just place them across all of your waterlogged stairs. That'll be 11 spaces. Okay. From there, go ahead and get out the pistons. And again, same distance, 11 spaces. Go ahead and get out your building blocks again. Place them all the way across here. This is going to hold our redstone. Okay. I'm going to come out by 2 more. We're going to go up and up, over, like so. Okay. You want to place your repeater right here and go across and connect this line down, like so. Just see what it's going to do. So this is our auto harvester, which is being powered by the auto grower. As I said, it all comes from here. Everything else just kind of follows its lead. Now we're ready to place down the sugar canes. So all the way across, just a nice row of 11. And we want to make sure that this stays contained, of course, because this is a lossless farm. Okay. So you can go around like so. And so what we're going to do here, because we are stacking, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. This is one farm complete by itself. If you wanted to stop here, you could. You would just, bring that hopper line around, plug it into whatever storage you want to do, and then you are done. But you're here because you want to see some more expansion on this farm, of course. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, what you want to do here is, instead of slapping glass on here, you want to make sure that you are in line with this piston, okay? And we're not going to put glass here. We're going to instead place 13, so one on each. Just go all the way across and place one right on the outside of these pistons. 13 building blocks, like so. And then you go ahead and place down your torches. Bring it all the way across. And go ahead and go up by one. And we're going to wrap this all the way around. And we're essentially just creating the floor of the farm again, since we're not at ground level anymore. Okay. And then from here, it's the same process. You place down your pistons. You place down, now we're going to do this a little differently. I'll show you in just a minute. So don't worry about placing a block there. But this is going to be exactly the same from here on out as how we did this farm, okay? Just make sure that instead of putting glass on this row, you put your solid block with your redstone torch. So what I did here is I just kind of got started. This is the exact same process that we did down here. So like I said, you just want to stack this up and build the exact same way. Now what's going to be different from here is instead of putting both your building blocks here, so if we go ahead and because now we have to connect our vertical power switch with our farm. So this is going to be the way that you stack up the power every time, okay? So we're going to come down here. We're going to place a sticky piston, block of redstone. Let me get this out of the way. Another sticky piston and another block of redstone. And there you go. It's going to take two of these, two sticky pistons and two blocks of redstone per farm if you have this stacked right on top just like that, okay? Very important that you get the measurements right. And as you can see here, if we just unpower, it goes back to being a clock. And this is actually producing us a little bit of sugarcane, as you can see there. If we check our hopper, we have our supply of sugarcane, okay? And then just go ahead and hit the switch to turn it all off again. So I'm not going to show you how to build the rest of it from now, where I'm just going to complete the remaining 3.5-ish kind of farms. It's exactly the same as this. So if you have it committed to memory by now, that is good. You can also just replay and go back on this video. So I will see you when we have something that looks a little more like that over there. And here we go, crafters. We have our 4-layered sugarcane farm. And of course, we check the top. Just, when you're done, just cover that glass right here. And again, if you want to go more than 4, you can do so. Just know that the higher you go, of course, that means more storage if you're going to go the storage silo route. This is going to be, we're going to want to be in the very middle. We have a 2-block center, and we're going to use both those center points. So starting off on any side you want, we're going to go in by 8 and 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Keeping an eye on these two, we're going to go out by 4, counting this block. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and slap your droppers down. And doing this in survival, you can go ahead and put your soul sand down right here. Clear up some inventory space. Okay. And now we're going to get out the hoppers. And we're going to do a 2x2. Or should I say really a two 2x1s, sorry, 2 2x1s, and each 2x1 is going straight into their respective droppers, okay? Now from here you can go ahead and place a chest down. There's going to be more along the way, but we're on the ground, so figure we'll just get that out of the way right quick. And from here, we're going to set up our auto droppers. For those who don't know how to build auto droppers, this is your chance to learn. Don't worry, it is very simple circuitry. So we're going to go ahead and get out the comparator. So we're going to do one side first, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're going to get out your comparator and your repeater, and then we need to connect this circuit into the comparator. So for those that don't know how this works, when an item goes into a dropper or any sort of block that can hold items, that has inventory, like a chest or a hopper or dropper, dispenser, shulker box. If a comparator is up to it, it will detect the amount of items in there and output a signal relative to how many items are in there, okay? So if we put an item in here, it's going to detect that and then output that one bit of redstone signal. Repeater is going to, repeat it, and it's going to constantly fluctuate, making a clock. Now, what turns this into an auto dropper is if we bring that circuit around and put it into the repeater, and from there into our dropper. And as you can see here, it's shooting out and off to the side because we don't have any solid blocks in there yet. But this is how our auto dropper is going to work, okay? I'm just gonna break that real quick so I can grab the redstone. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So of course, get out your comparator, get out your repeater, bring that all the way around like that. There we go. Perfect. And that is it. That is your dual auto dropper, okay? And as you saw earlier, the items kept coming out of the soul sand off to the side. Okay, so a way we get around that is you want to just wrap that soul sand around with any sort of solid block. Just use your building block. If you want to use a different color, it's really up to you, but we're just going to kind of keep it consistent with the building block that we are using at the moment, okay? And if we want to try this out, you'll see that instead of looping, there we go. It'll go straight up, and from here we'll go into our bubble columns into our storage. So as you're building this bubble column, just as a safety measure, if you think that you may accidentally break some glass building this, water spills out, wipes out your circuitry, you can go ahead and just kind of cover this up in whatever block you want to use. I'm just going to use glass, personal choice, just so we can kind of look at the circuitry. But if you don't want to look at it at all, then you can just cover it up with a non-transparent block, okay? So I'm just going to cover this up here real quick, and now we can work on our bubble column. I missed a spot. Okay, so here we are. We have our soul sand, and we're going to get out the glass, and from here we're going to go up by 20. But we're going to go around here first and create a ring. This is going to be just a visual so you know where to build the glass for your bubble column, okay? Just surround that soul sand. So counting that block, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. And so what you're going to do now from here is just, here we go. Go ahead and build this up, and we will see you when that is done. One thing that I should point out for those working on how high you want your bubble column to be, this really depends on how much storage you want, okay? So what I said when we were building the bubble column with the glass pillars, we go up by 20. The reason behind that is because it is relative to how high my storage is. So if you look down here, from where the storage starts and the bubble column starts, there is a 2-block difference. Okay, so our bubble column is going to go up by 20 blocks because we have 22 chests here. So for anyone that wants to build shorter or lower, just keep that 2-block difference in mind. Coming back to our unfinished version, go ahead and keep your glass out, and we're going to go bring your glass out by 1, 2. Now we're going to do two temporaries. Okay, so temporary, temporary, place one right there. And get rid of those two. Okay. Same thing on this side. Bring that out by 2. Temp 1, temp 2. There you go. Get rid of these. Just to clear up some inventory, go ahead and place your buttons down. This is where the water is going to flow. And because we're not going out by the full flowing length of 8 blocks, we're just going to have a button to stop the water flow. So the items will just drop straight down here. Keeping our glass out, go ahead and just go around like so. Just loop it here. There we go. Now our water has nowhere to go but up and over. Okay. So go ahead and place a temporary block here and here. We're going to put the water up here first, because if we build our bubble column and just water source our way up to here, it will actually only flow to here. It'll stop here and it won't go to these other 3 spaces. Okay. So place your temporary block there. Place your 2 water sources. As you can see, we have flow. And then just remove your center blocks. And whatever method you want to use at this point, water sources, ice blocks, kelp, it's up to you. We're just going to make sure that we have water sources and just complete our bubble column. Okay, and when you're done with that bubble column, it should look something like this. Look at this beautiful work here. The items are going to launch up in the air. It's going to look really cool. They're going to drop down side to side to prevent overflow. If you want to test this out real quick, just go ahead and throw some bits in there. And you can see it's evenly distributing. Once it's in that double chest, they immediately start getting pulled into both droppers. And then now we can see it's raining sugarcane. So coming around to the back, it's time to connect all of our farms together, okay? Consolidate our resources. So now we're going to put our hoppers down and replace a chest, okay? We're going to go up by 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to place a chest right at the meeting point. The meeting points are going to be where the other hopper lines are coming down, where the other farms, the other hopper lines are coming at, okay? So if we come over here, to the side, we're going to connect. There we go. So now any items that are going into this farm are now going to go into this auto dropper. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to stay, it'll save you a little bit of hoppers if you stay on this side that's closer to your hopper line, okay? So we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make that 5, okay? Perfect. And you can get away with just slapping down 1 chest because this is connecting just 2 farms. You're not really going to get any congestion because 1 farm by itself does not output a lot at one time. So you can get by with just 1 hopper line from this point on, and you can do just 1 chest. If you really want to, and you just want to double up, then of course you can do that as well. Okay. There's a little way to save some resource. And then you don't, of course, need to do a chest here because this is just, this is just 1 farm. So just bring this up. Oh. And there we go. So now let's get working on how we're going to store all of this because it it produces a lot. Okay, you're going to get a stack in about, I'd say, easily a minute. I don't know the exact math now, but you will fill up your inventories pretty quick doing this. Okay, so let's get our chests, and going off of these 2 blocks, keep your eyes on this space here, and we're going to just drop down and place our chest here. You should be right in line with the edge of these 2 blocks, okay? And then we're going to go up by 22 total. All right, everyone, welcome back up to the top here. So you should be right below this glass block, okay? We're going to just drop down. And on the outside of this, we're going to place our redstone lamps. Once you're done with that, you should have something that looks like this. We have our line of chests and our redstone lamps to indicate when it is full. Okay. We're going to, on the very edge, or not the very edge, the outer, so we got right here, the middle, and then the outer piece. We're going to get out the hoppers, and we want to make sure that they are, of course, facing into our chests, okay? We'll see when that is done. And by the time you get up here, it's going to be a little difficult. We're also going to add in a couple more hoppers. So get over, you just jump over to this side, over to your farm, place one there, right there, and then place one there. So without the circuitry, we already have the storage silo. This is pretty much it. The circuitry is really just to let us know when the chest is full. So if you don't want to do the redstone, it's a little intimidating, or you just don't have the resources at the time, that's okay. You can just do this. Put the hoppers in, have our chest. You don't even have to have the lamps there. If you don't have the circuitry, there's really no point. And you would have your storage set up, okay? It's very simple, and we'll get into the circuitry in just a moment, but we will see you when we get back. We're going to be done with this side. So one thing I should point out, so we have the redstone lamps on the right side of this chest for the right side of the storage silo, okay? When you go to the left, you're going to want that redstone lamp to be on the left side of the chest. So this isn't what where it's gonna be, but you want it to look like that. What an amazing sight this is! Isn't this great? You just open up your world and you bring your friends in, and they just see this massive monster of a tower. You let them know that you're producing enough sugarcane to feed a server. You know, this is nice. It's nice to have this thing towering over, and we're almost done, everyone. We're almost done, crafters. So for those that don't want to do the circuitry to let us know when the chests are full, you're done. You are done, and this is it. You just get rid of the redstone lamps. You can case up your redstone and protect the circuitry however you want. You can give it a name. You do whatever. You're done here if you don't want to do the circuitry. But for those that are still watching, we're going to go ahead and do the circuitry here. We're going to create the system that will let us know when our chests are full. So go ahead and get out your solid block, your building block, and right behind the redstone lamp, just go up the entire length like so. Now we're going to get out our comparators, and we're going to place a comparator here. Get out your solid block again. Get your repeaters here and here, and then place the redstone dust here. So we can't do the same circuit yet because, well, this needs to go on the solid block at this level. We can't really do that because you see this happens, okay? So what we're going to do now is you're going to place a block here and put your comparator in like so, okay? That way it powers this block. And that is it. That is your two circuits, everyone. That is literally it. Make sure your comparator is taking a signal from your hopper, and it goes in and powers that block. So I'll do this one more time with you. So now we just place our solid blocks down here. You create a pathway for the circuits. Place your solid block, not there, but here. Okay. Get out your comparator, your repeaters, and that's it for that one. Very simple. It just may look a little intimidating at first because there was just so much of it. It's just these two. You just repeat the same thing. Okay? Place your comparator there. So I'm going to leave you to it. complete this all the way up, and then also complete the second one. I will meet you over there. Now, with the second one, I will just show you real quick, because it is kind of a mirrored. So we'll see the lamps are on the opposite side, as are the hoppers. So of course, it's the same exact circuitry. You just put it in a different direction, okay? So if we put our repeaters here, just to kind of show you, there's your solid block and your comparator. Exact same circuit, just flipped, okay? Oh, we can even get over there. Very simple. So, crafters, I will see you all when both of these are done. Okay, crafters, here we are with our, oh, oh, there we go. That's not supposed to be there. Yeah, so just like what you just saw here, if your comparators are like this, just to make sure that they're not. So, yeah, this is it. Now, if you want to go further with your storage, then you can do so. Just remember that 2 block height difference when we built up our columns here. Um, just keep that in mind if you want to go higher. Also keep that in mind if you want to go lower. It's really up to you. And make sure that our circuitry is flipped. So you see I have the comparators here on the insides. The repeaters are going to be on the outsides. Okay. You always want the repeaters going into the block that is touching your lamp. You always want the comparators coming out of your hoppers. Congratulations, everybody. That concludes the tutorial for this industrial sugar cane farm. I hope you are going to get a lot of sugar cane out of this. Let me know how this build works out for you. Just remember your safety measures. Make sure your chunk aligned. Let me know how well this farm works out for you. Like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. If you like what you see, there's going to be more coming as time goes on. We have some big plans. Thank you all again so much for coming. It has been great to make this video, and we will see you all again in the next one.